Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Isn't that a profound statement?
The past century has seen the motivational movement change from niche self-improvement lectures to a massive global industry. In this documentary, we'll see how ideas about personal motivation evolved over 100 years. From early 20th century self-help pioneers to today's social media influencers, we'll see how each era's key figures packaged inspiration in new formats, from books and radio to stadium seminars, YouTube videos, and apps, and how world events like economic crises and technological revolutions shaped what motivational gurus preached. Along the way, we'll also confront critiques and controversies, asking whether the promise of self-help has delivered real results or just slick profits. Our story begins in the early 20th century, when the foundations of modern motivational literature were laid. One pivotal figure was Napoleon Hill, who in 1928 published The Law of Success, inspired by industrialist Andrew Carnegie, and followed it with the 1937 classic Think and Grow Rich. First released during the Great Depression, Hill's book promised 13 principles for achieving wealth and fulfillment, offering hope to a nation shaken by economic hardship. It became a runaway success, selling millions of copies as depression-weary readers embraced its message that thoughts are things, and positive thinking can conquer adversity. Hill, often seen as a founding father of the self-help genre, demonstrated the era's appetite for guidance on personal success when times were tough. But Hill was not alone. Even earlier, thinkers like Samuel Smiles, who wrote Self-Help in 1859, and French pharmacist Émile Coué, who in the 1920s popularized autosuggestion and the mantra, "Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better," set the stage for a new kind of personal improvement philosophy. Their ideas marked a shift from solely religious or moral instruction toward practical psychological techniques for self-empowerment. By the 1930s and 40s, the notion that one could change one's life by changing one's attitude was gaining mainstream traction. World events dramatically influenced this early motivational movement. The Great Depression created a desperate need for hope and direction. Books promising prosperity through positive thinking found eager audiences. During World War II, motivational messaging took on patriotic tones. For example, government posters like "We can do it" encouraged perseverance. And in the war's aftermath, as people rebuilt their lives, a new optimism about individual potential emerged. The seeds of the motivational industry had been planted in these early decades, combining American can-do spirit with inspirational storytelling about triumph over adversity. By the 1950s, the U.S. was booming, and so was interest in self-improvement. Clergyman Norman Vincent Peale became a household name with The Power of Positive Thinking, 1952, a book and philosophy that blended faith with affirmations to build confidence. Peale had actually started sharing motivational advice on his radio program, The Art of Living, in the 1930s. But post-World War II America was especially receptive to his message that optimism and faith could conquer fear, useful in an era shadowed by Cold War anxieties. His success signaled that motivational content could reach the masses through mass media, not just print, but also radio and, soon, television. At the same time, business and career-oriented self-help took off. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, 1936, which taught interpersonal skills and confidence, remained wildly popular, even being named one of the books that shaped America by the Library of Congress. Its continued influence into the 1950s showed that people craved practical advice on success in work and social life. Other writers like W. Clement Stone and Earl Nightingale, whose 1956 audio recording, The Strangest Secret, was an early motivational record hit, preached the gospel of ambition and positive mental attitude, often tying personal prosperity to virtuous character and persistence. Meanwhile, the 1960s ushered in a more humanistic and spiritual approach to self-improvement. This era's social upheavals, civil rights struggles, the Vietnam War, a questioning of traditional authority, led many to seek personal growth and meaning. The human potential movement was born, exemplified by California's Esalen Institute and thinkers like Abraham Maslow, who proposed a hierarchy of needs culminating in self-actualization. Motivation in this context meant unlocking one's inner potential and pursuing self-awareness. Seminar programs and group workshops sprang up, aiming to transform participants at a deep psychological level. For example, Psychologist Maxwell Maltz's 1960 book Psycho-Cybernetics taught visualization techniques to improve self-image, a precursor to many modern motivational practices. By the 1970s and 1980s, motivational speaking had exploded into a distinct profession, with charismatic figures drawing arena-sized crowds. No longer confined to books or church basements, motivation was now a big business, the birth of the modern self-help industry. Pioneers like Zig Ziglar, a salesman-turned-speaker known for his Southern charm and humorous stories, and Jim Rohn toured the country delivering upbeat seminars on salesmanship, positive attitude, and goal-setting. Their dynamic stage presence and relatable anecdotes captivated audiences, making motivational seminars a popular phenomenon in corporate training and public events. As one account notes, these 70s and 80s speakers laid the groundwork, making personal development accessible to everyone. They preached hope and resilience, emphasizing that with the right mindset, anyone could overcome challenges, a message that resonated amid economic turbulence like the 1970s stagflation and the early 80s recessions. The 1980s saw the emergence of the first self-help celebrities. Foremost among them was Tony Robbins, a larger-than-life peak performance coach who rose to fame by blending principles of neuro-linguistic programming, intense physical exercises like firewalking, and rock concert energy. Robbins began holding his own seminars in the early 80s, after working for Jim Rohn, and soon became a pop culture figure, appearing in late-night TV infomercials, selling his personal power tapes, and even guiding celebrities like Oprah Winfrey across hot coals. By the 1990s, Robbins had created what Britannica calls a multifaceted business empire around preaching the gospel of self-improvement. He and his peers proved that motivational content could be packaged as entertainment, with rock music, high fives, and pyrotechnics, without losing its inspirational core. The self-help seminar was now as much a show as a lesson, and attendees paid hundreds or thousands of dollars for the experience. Global context. In the late 20th century, economic booms and busts played into motivational trends. The entrepreneurial fervor of the 1980s, think Wall Street's greed is good era, dovetailed with speakers urging people to strive for wealth and excellence. In contrast, after the 1987 stock crash and early 90s recession, messages shifted slightly toward resilience and adapting to change, e.g., Who Moved My Cheese, addressing workplace upheavals. The end of the Cold War and accelerating globalization also expanded the audience. Self-help principles were exported worldwide, finding particular popularity in emerging economies eager for the success formulas of the West. By the dawn of the new millennium, the idea that you could improve your life through structured personal development was firmly embedded in popular culture across the globe. The 21st century ushered in digital technology that revolutionized how motivational content is delivered. In 2006, a documentary-style film and book called The Secret became a global phenomenon by harnessing both old and new media. It repackaged the age-old law of attraction idea, the belief that thinking positively attracts positive outcomes, with slick production values and viral marketing. The Secret spread rapidly via DVDs and Oprah's endorsement, then through blogs and word-of-mouth online, eventually selling tens of millions of copies. This demonstrated the internet's power to amplify motivational messages far beyond seminar halls. Suddenly, one didn't need to attend an event in person. Inspiration could be streamed into your living room. By the 2010s, social media had turned motivation into a constant, bite-sized feed. Platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and later TikTok enabled a new wave of motivational influencers to rise. Content got shorter and more shareable. A single impactful quote on a scenic background, a 60-second video telling you to grind hard and believe in yourself, or a podcast episode on finding your purpose. Motivational quotes, in particular, became ubiquitous online, flooding news feeds and Pinterest boards. This wasn't just anecdotal. Research shows that positive, inspirational posts often get higher engagement on social platforms than other content. Users eagerly share these feel-good snippets, creating viral chains of positivity. A 2023 report noted that posts with inspirational quotes tend to receive significantly more likes and shares than purely promotional or negative posts, illustrating how social media algorithms actually favor motivational content because of its engagement potential. Global events in the 2000s and 2010 also left their mark. In the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, many found themselves seeking motivation to reinvent careers or simply stay positive through hardship. The self-help industry responded with themes of frugality, entrepreneurship, and resilience. TED Talks on grit and growth mindset, or books like The Lean Startup, became popular as people tried to take control in an unstable economy. Fast forward to 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic. With billions under lockdown, there was a surge in online webinars, Instagram live talks, and meditation apps as forms of motivational and mental health support. Isolated individuals tuned into daily encouragement streams or joined virtual communities for mutual uplift. It was a reminder that in times of crisis, the motivational movement often gains momentum as people grasp for guidance and hope.